I have a whole box of new makeup here to try on for you, let you know what I've been thinking of them and what of these new launches are the best for fair skin, the best cool tones, all that good stuff. We're gonna be having a lot of fun in this video. It's a full try on, so get cozy and let's get started. Diving into this new makeup, let's start with this new foundation. This is from the brand, I believe it's pronounced Axiology. I remember them from back in the day when I first started my social media. Really happy they are still around. And they came out with this new skin loving, it's called Fungdation, a foundation with mushrooms. It has reishi mushrooms to soothe, renew, and protect your skin. The ingredients are very, very pure and simple, and it seems very moisturizing. It says snow mushrooms deeply hydrate for a plump, radiant glow. So multiple kinds of mushrooms in here. I'm actually super excited to try this because my skin has been so irritated lately and reacting to like everything. So this sounds like something that is going to be really soothing. This packaging is super cute. This, I believe, is recycled paper. This is also a paper container. It's their little logo, and then you open it up and it kind of is like a balm foundation almost. And I have the lightest shade, which is shade 1, which seems like it's gonna be a pretty good match. Now, this just seems so interesting to me. I usually don't love a lot of cream foundations, but this seems like it's kind of like a balmy type of formula. So with this, I think I'm definitely just going to take my finger, and usually with these types of products, warming up the formula is really good thing to start with. So let's just start blending this in. Maybe I'll go into my sponge or a brush, but yeah, it definitely feels like a formula that you want to work in a little bit. Ooh, this feels so nice. So even though I said I don't like cream or more emollient type of formulas, now that my skin is a little bit more irritated and drier, I tend to like them, gravitate towards them a little bit more. This is definitely like lighter coverage. It feels beautiful on the skin though. It doesn't really feel too waxy. Let's see. It's like an oil based. Yeah, we do have some wax in there, but it doesn't feel too heavy. Real test is gonna be on my chin. I do have some dermatitis and a lot of dry skin going on right now. The shade I think is a little bit light for me. I'm seeing like the yellowness in my neck. I could probably do the next shade. Using your hands definitely takes a little bit longer, but it is going beautifully with this formula. Like just to work it in, it looks so much like skin, and just like off of feel right now, it feels amazing. Like definitely hard to describe. It's not oily or heavy. It's kind of like as I expected from the look of it, like it's a little bit balmy. So with that amount, I'm definitely getting a bit of a lighter coverage finish here. I'm curious if I just get some on my sponge, how it would apply just in the areas where I want a little bit more coverage. And I'm also now wondering if it's intended to like, you can rub it on your face because it does sort of like get pushed up from the bottom. Maybe. So far with my first impressions, I think this finish is so beautiful. I can't emphasize how nice it's feeling on my skin right now. Feels so perfectly moisturizing. This is also probably one of these formulas you have to be careful with what you're using under it. If you're using a serum or skincare that has silicones or maybe is very water-based, but it's usually silicones that if you put a wax or an oil on top of it like this foundation and start rubbing it in, that's how you can get pilling. I did just have a face balm under it, so it worked really beautiful with this foundation. I hope it wears well. I really love just like going into my fingers and like spot concealing, and the fact that it just feels so nourishing on the skin if you have dry skin, or if you love really natural makeup, both like ingredient wise and how it feels and looks on the skin. This might be a good one to try out. I will update you in the comments whether this wears well, but it's sitting so well on my dry skin. I'm really excited. Next for concealer, I picked up the Revlon Glimmer Brightening Concealer. It's not actually like shimmery, the Glimmer name. I thought maybe it would be shimmery. It's not, thankfully. And the shade 125 is a really good like neutrally olive shade. I've been using this on my face. I have not tried it on the under eyes yet, so I want to try that out today. See, it has that really great like neutral, more yellowy tone, which is good because the foundation's it's a little bit light for me today. I'm just going to use my sponge. It has really great coverage to it. Very light as well. This concealer is looking good too. Maybe we're being blessed with a good base day today. I think it's definitely like medium lighter coverage on the under eyes. I'm gonna try just like a little bit more right in these hollows of my eyes. I used to love the in high school the Revlon Color Stay foundation because the buff shade was one of the only drugstore foundations that actually came close to matching me. I feel like that was kind of like a neutral olive tone, and this kind of just reminded me of buff as well. This will be another one I'll leave an update in the description. I have been using it on my face and liking it, but I'll update you on the under eyes because that's a little bit more finicky. I did just post my review of these new Kosas powders and I want to use them again today. I actually want to mix both of these shades just to see what it would be like because I do like both of them and I'm just wondering. You know, I'm just curious. I'm just gonna make sure to smooth out that concealer. This foundation, it looks so beautiful. I really don't feel like I need a lot of powder for it. It's really not too oily. I'm loving the finish. Usually those really natural foundations that are oil or wax based are just so like emollient on the skin and they never last well. This one feels like it became one with my skin though. Okay, now I have my little puff here and I'm gonna mix. I have both the pink and the yellow shades in here and then I'm just gonna sort of mix it on the back of my hand and then set the under eyes. Okay, I actually love that shade that it created. So I definitely noticed, I did my last video and asked you guys which side you like better, the pink or the yellow. And the pink does look a little bit more like natural and brightening on me, but it does also like not the best for the rest of my face. It pulls like a little too cool. I'm also just gonna use whatever's left and set the rest of the face. This combo looks really skin-like and beautiful and feels like nothing, which I love. So hopefully they wear well together. Let's move on to bronzer and then I have a lot of blushes to swatch for you. I'm gonna use my RMS Beauty Beachwalk Betty, of course, on this angled brush, just to add a little bit of warmth to the face. I also like to sort of adjust or change the bronzer that I'm using depending on like if my foundation shade is a little bit off. So like today, if it's pulling a little pink, I'll go with like this bronzer, which is definitely more neutral, slightly warmer. Definitely doesn't pull orange though. But if I feel like my base is pulling more like warm or yellow, using something like the RMS Maiden's Blush as a bronzer, which has more of those pink tones in it, sort of just like helps balance the tones. All right, let's start with these blush options that I have. First, let's start with the Revlon Glimmer blush drops. I got this as part of the Revlon Glimmer collection. This is the shade 3, which is called Field of Roses. This is like a little tiny liquid blush that you basically just like, it's one of those squeeze bottoms. It comes out so quick that is way too much product. I'm gonna take off most of this and then I will swatch this shade for you. My problem with this so far is that it's just so pigmented and bright and it like dries really quickly that on my skin it's just not my favorite liquid blush. Maybe if you have deeper skin this would work a lot better for you. I just wish maybe they had a lighter shade. So out of the collection it's not something I'm like super excited about. Still wanted to mention it and give you the swatch of it in case you were curious about this. It's just liquid blushes that are pigmented are not my favorite formula, so I'm not super surprised that this isn't blowing my mind. Next, I have this blush from Jones Road. It's called their Best Blush, which I haven't tried yet, and it's called Pop. It is tiny, really cute, and let's open this up. The shade looks really pretty. It is like a mid cool tone pink. Looks like the shimmer might be, it looks like a champagne shimmer. It's not pulling like too gold or anything. So let's do a swatch. It is super creamy, by the way. Very, very like silky feeling. First swatch was a little bit more sheer. The shade looks super pretty. It's reminding me of Bermuda Rose from RMS Beauty. A little bit more pink in it though. Looks gorgeous. Maybe we will wear this one today. I still would love to try the Jones Road bronzer in that like pinky rose color. If you have tried that, let me know if you like it. And then last but not least, I also have the new Tower 28 blushes, which are like a setting powder and blush in one. So they're really smoothing kind of formula. I have 3 shades here. It's called their Getset blush. And let's start with this first shade, which is called Malibu Cooler, which is this really gorgeous, cool bubblegum pink. So they're also a really silky feeling formula. So I definitely get the point that these are supposed to be smoothing because they're not as like pigmented as most blushes, and they have this sort of like sheer smoothing look to them on the skin. It's reminding me of my Florist blushes that I really love because they are more muted and toned down and have a lot more just like workability, especially for fair skin, because the shade could be like a little bit bright, but it does apply nice and sheerly. And then we also have this brighter pink. This one is called Feliz Fresca. So even with this more brighter pink, I think we could definitely still get away with these shades on the cheeks. And then if you want something a little bit more muted, they have this Samo Spritzer shade, which is this purple guy here, which is sort of this muted rose. Curious to see if it'll pull warm. Ooh, that is really pretty. It's a very like dusty rose. Again, one like, might be able to get away with that as a bronzer. See how sheer that one was? That was sort of just like one swipe of pigment. And then you can build it up. But I can tell by the blendability that I get why they're like a setting powder and blush. I was a little confused at first, but I get by the way that they do blend out on the skin what they were going for. So I have been using these and really liking them. My favorite one is definitely the Malibu Cooler shade because it's a really cool, brighter pink. Looks gorgeous on fair skin. But yeah, a lot of good shades here. So I think I'm gonna use the Jones Road blush today. I'm just really curious how it's going to look on the skin. Just gonna take this little domed brush. Do have my rosacea flaring up a little bit, but it'll just add to that. Yeah, that's a super pretty color. I mean, I saw this and was like, how am I not gonna like this? I wanna see up close though if the gold shimmer is kind of showing up. Not really. I see the glow, but it's not showing up like NARS Orgasm or anything like that, which is like a very strong gold shimmer. Really like the pigmentation level of these. It didn't have to like build it up too much. Quite pigmented, is actually blending in with my natural cheek color. So I do also have this other Axiology product, the Multi-Stick Tinted Dew. Let's open this little guy up. So I'm guessing you could use this on the lips or the cheeks, and this is the shade The Goodness. It looks like a really pretty like purpley shimmer shade. Okay, that's quite sheer. Ooh, I love the shine of that though. Should I try it on my lips? Okay, that's super pretty. I think this would be gorgeous on the cheeks actually. I'll save that for another video. It has a nice sheerness, same sort of like emollient quality as the foundation. For highlight, I wanted to talk about this one that is new to me. This is from Flower Nose. It's their Little Angel Collection embossed highlighter in Moon River. If you've never seen Flower Nose packaging, it's insanely beautiful. And this is like a white with a gold sheen to it. I wanted to talk about this in case you were curious. This is like more of a glittery type of base highlighter. It kind of just has a sheer base. As I'm swatching it, hopefully you can see, you probably can't because it's mostly just shimmer. So it has a thicker shimmer particle. I wouldn't say that it's like chunky glitter, so it still looks pretty on the skin. But if you only like really smooth highlighters, I would stay away from this. But if you like something that like maybe shows up as a little bit more just sparkly, you might actually really enjoy this because I like the purple and like blue shift that it does have in it. I will apply it. I take my fan brush here and just dust it on. It does give this like super pretty purpley shift. But yeah, just be aware that it is a little bit more of a chunky highlight. Let me go ahead and do my brows and then we'll move on to the eyeshadow. It looks like I put way too much blush on. It's really just my rosacea. I would love to know if you have rosacea. Do you still wear blush? Sometimes I feel like it kind of cancels out the redness by adding another shade of blush, but other times it's just like so much, you know? Another new product from Flower Nose. This is from the Butterfly Cloud Color Collection 6-color makeup palette. This is the shade Incense Purple Haze. I had to show you this colorway. If you love cool tones, dusty pinks and purples, gorgeous, and these shimmers are really beautiful as well. So I do want to use this today. I've been really loving this really dusty like pink lilac shade as a transition shade. I think it'll go nicely with the very pink theme we already have going on. I think colors like that are so nice on the under eye as well. I've been liking doing actually a lighter color of shadow underneath. Kind of like emphasizes the roundness of your eyes. Sometimes I feel like with a darker color underneath, it just, I don't know, almost looks a little too harsh on me. Next, just moving down to the next color in this palette, which is a slightly more dusty, deep rose. It's not deep, I would say it's like a still very light, but darker than that first shade. Also, if you're looking for makeup inspiration, I was on Flower Nose site and I was so inspired because all the makeup looks were like very similar to the kind of makeup I've been loving lately, where it's just like very pastel and pretty, just gorgeous. Next, moving along to this more purple shade. I'm gonna put this in the very outer corner. If you're curious what else is good from Flower Nose, get one of their blush duos if you're gonna make an order. This one is Fluttering Romance. It has a very pastel purple and pastel pink. If you like makeup similar to mine, you have a similar skin tone, you're gonna love that. It is super gorgeous. So then we have the two shimmers sort of in the middle here. This more pink one and then the more champagne one. And I think I'm gonna use this more pink one on the lid. It's super pretty. It has like a really beautiful, like sort of chunkier finish. And it's almost like it's like a pink gold. I think I used this palette in a previous video. I don't remember if I used this shade or the other one. Would not be surprised if I used it in the other video as well. For my waterline, I want to use the DANESSA MYRICKS Lilac Quartz, which is this really interesting holographic like white blue purple shift liner, which is really similar to that highlight, so I thought it would go well together. For eyeliner, I think I mentioned this before, but I've been really loving it. It's the Jones Road Gel Liner in brown. Love a brown liner. This is so good. It's really creamy and easy to work with. I usually don't like a gel liner because you know they can be like waxy and crumbly and dry quickly, so you just can't get that good of an application. This one is perfect where it's really creamy, and I really recommend getting the brush with it because it's super tiny, amazing brush for precision. Oh, it's called the Precision Eyeliner Brush, and I just love this brown shade, and it has not transferred or smudged on me. I've even worn it like without eyelid primer and there was no transfer, so really impressed. And because this is so creamy, when you do a liner, you can still clean it up before it dries, and it like makes your wing a bit sharper, but it still dries to the longevity of something that would not blend out as easily, if you know what I'm saying. It's just like the perfect blend. Another little trick I've been loving, usually been doing this with eyeshadow, but you could use the gel liner too, just like the tip of it, and then I'll do a dot sort of right below my pupil on the bottom lash line. And just because I've been doing a lot on the lower lash line, I feel like it just looks cute and I like it. I think I saw it somewhere. Was it on the Flower Nose website? It was some sort of inspiration that I got and I tried it and I really like how it looks. Just curled my lashes with my Revlon lash curler, and then I'm gonna do my Maybelline Firework in brownish black. I love this mascara, but I would say be prepared for how intense it is, like having a lash comb on hand, because it can get clumpy quickly, but the effect is so good. It's really dramatic. All right, a lot of lippies to talk about here as well. First are these new PIXI lip tints, I believe they're called. I picked out two of the best shades. We have Soft and Love here. I'll swatch both of them. These are like lip tints slash stains that are like a moussey whipped formula. Reminds me of like, what are those like ink lip formulas? I can't remember the name of them, but let me swatch this lighter shade. So it's gonna come off like a little bit more sheer. This is such a gorgeous, cool pink though. It's called Soft, and this does leave like a stain behind on your lips in like a matte, smooth, moussey kind of way. Looks really blurred and pretty, so these were like such a surprise hit for me. And then we have this more bright shade, which is the Love shade. Gonna give you a bit more of like a berry tint. So they look really good on their own, and then when they do wear off, I love that they leave behind a very even tint. Not all lip tints do that. These are called the Tint Fix Satin Lip Tints. They feel really like moussey and smooth on the lips. Really interesting launch from PIXI, and really recommend this lighter nude if you like something cool toned. Additionally, I also have a new Jones Road lip tint shade. I do have the Mocha one, I think it's called, which is that like brown shimmer, which I love. So I'm excited. This one is shade Just Pinky. Looks like it might be a little bit warm. There it is on the side of my hand. This looks just like a ColourPop shade I have. I mean, Charlotte Tilbury shade I have. One second. Okay, never mind. I actually can't find that Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. Should we try this on? It seems like it might pull pretty decently. I'm gonna use my ColourPop Cool BFF because who am I if I don't use this lip liner, you know? All right, let's try this shade on. It definitely doesn't pull too orange. If I was going for a peachier lip, I would probably wear this. I really like these formulas. They're very thin. And then I also have the Revlon Glimmer Gloss, which I wore in my last video, I believe, if you want to see it like kind of truly on its own. And this is the shade Lavender Lust. This from the Revlon collection is what drew my eye to the collection in Ulta. These glimmer glosses, and they're so good. They're not chunky, doesn't feel gritty. And this shade Lavender Lust is gorgeous. It doesn't pull like too blue purple like a lot of these like cool tone shimmer glosses are. It still looks relatively natural. It just has such a cool array of glitter in there. So really recommend these, and they're not heavily scented, so I love that. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like on. It has a nice big doe foot on top of this like peachier shade. So smooth and so pretty. Need more shades of these. Shades like these are so nice to have on hand too, because you can put it on a warmer lip and it maybe ties the look together a little bit more, which I'm definitely feeling. There were a lot of great standouts in this video, the Fungdation being one of them. Really nice fair shade. I will have to keep you updated on the wear though. Fingers crossed it wears well, because I really love the finish and the feel so far. And the Revlon Glimmer concealer as well. Hopefully it wears well under the eyes. I have been liking it on the face though, and it's such a good like fair olive shade. The Jones Road blush I really like, super pretty, along with the new Tower 28 blushes. These are gorgeous as well. Jones Road eyeliner has been such a new staple of mine, and the Revlon Glimmer glosses. I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable and like this look I created. I will have everything linked below, details, everything you need to know. Also gonna pop another one of my videos on the screen here so we can keep hanging out. So I will see you over there. Bye.